In today's video, we've got quite a bit of news coming out of Square Enix. Their studio in Tokyo RPG Factory has just announced another JRPG, and it's coming to the PlayStation 4 this summer. Want to talk all about that, and whenever I mention Square Enix, of course, the first franchise that's going to come to your mind is Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 15 released a couple years ago at this point. A game with a lot of history behind it, from its development, from its release plan, to upcoming content. We thought there was going to be a lot more content coming to the game, however, a lot of it has been canceled. One piece of content that wasn't canceled, however, was episode Ardyn. We've got a release date for that, and Square Enix has uploaded the official anime prologue for that piece of DLC. It's a 15-minute anime video, so I do want to give that a look as well. Apex Legends, of course, continues to take the gaming world by storm, and new leaks tease more game modes coming and bigger squads being available, so that's very exciting. We're just a few days away from the official release of Anthem on the PlayStation 4, and now we have the file size revealed for the game, and it is relatively small, all things considered, especially when you compare it to other AAA games. A PlayStation 4 action RPG has unfortunately been delayed, and I want to round out the video by taking a look at a great deal on a DualShock 4 wireless controllers. Those are always obscenely expensive, but through the Facebook Marketplace, you can pick one up for yourself right now, relatively cheap, free shipping within the United States as well, so that's pretty nice. More on that at the end of this video. First up, Square Enix has just announced Oninaki. It's a brand new JRPG coming from the guys over at Tokyo RPG Factory. They've got an announcement trailer up, and it's really following the similar style of other Tokyo RPG Factory games. If you guys are unaware, they also did I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere. And right away, you might be thinking, when comparing this game to other Square Enix JRPG releases like a Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15, or even Dragon Quest 11, you can obviously tell it is a lower budget game. However, I offer to you this. Not every game has to be this big budget open world game that's technically groundbreaking. No, there's definitely room for action RPGs like Oninaki, and it does have a gorgeous aesthetic style and presentation style that makes it a lot different than other games. The premise of the game is also very interesting. It tells the story of one watcher on a journey to protect life after death. Players will uncover the mysteries of life, death, and what's beyond as protagonist Kagachi moves between the living world and the realm of the dead known as the Beyond. Now, one thing I have to say is Tokyo RPG Factory has been incredibly consistent. Yes, they do put out games that aren't as big budget as some of the other Square Enix games, but they are very consistent in their releases. I Am Setsuna came out in 2017, Lost Sphere came out in 2018, and now Oninaki is coming out in 2019. Now, I do have to say, have all of their games, the two games that they have released, been great? They haven't been absolute top-tier games, but I do see incremental improvements game over game. I Am Setsuna was a very interesting game with a fantastic story, a very emotional story, and I thought Lost Sphere was quite a good game as well, and Oninaki does seem to be more action-oriented. It's got a great premise for its story. It's pretty interesting in that regard, and I absolutely think that there's room for games like this. I know people are going to be like, we want another Final Fantasy, we want more Kingdom Hearts, but this is done by a different studio altogether. I'm sure Square Enix is still investing a lot of resources into the Final Fantasy VII Remake, into their other big JRPG projects, but I am all for a smaller studio also taking the reins and putting out games consistently, because God knows Kingdom Hearts takes forever to make. Final Fantasy takes forever to make. Let's see what Tokyo RPG Factory can put out, and let's see if they can continue to get better and better, because they are the most consistent Square Enix studio at this point, putting out games at a yearly pace. I just hope that the quality gets better. Again, not to say that their games have been bad, but there's definitely room for improvement, but hopefully game over game they just continue to get better and better, and they continue to put out games yearly, because Square Enix needs a studio like that, and they need less of studios, taking 5 to 10 years to put out games. That's not helping anyone at all. Speaking of games that took 5 to 10 years to put out, Final Fantasy 15 was absolutely one of them. Originally announced back in 2006 as Final Fantasy Versus 13, it was one of the biggest train wreck game developments that you will ever witness, but Final Fantasy Versus 13, rebranded as Final Fantasy 15, finally released back in 2016, and it was a pretty good game. I know some people were disappointed by it. I thought if you take away the story, because the story was a jumbled mess, the gameplay and the world were pretty great, and visually the game was stunning. However, we were expecting more content to come to Final Fantasy 15. We got one set of Season Pass content, and then another set of Season Pass content was announced. It was supposed to be with Episode Noctis, Episode Luna Freya, and a bunch of other content. Unfortunately, Square Enix canceled all of that. However, what they didn't cancel was Episode Ardyn, and now it has been confirmed that the Final Fantasy 15 saga will conclude with Episode Ardyn as it launches in March 26th to be exact, and they also put out a prologue episode. It's a 15-minute anime clip, and it's the prologue to the DLC. Specifically, the description of this DLC states, Final Fantasy 15 Episode Ardyn depicts the story of Ardyn Izuna, the main nemesis in Final Fantasy 15. The story of suffering, death, and resurrection leading up to the main story in FF15. This animation reveals the the story 2 millennia ago. I think Final Fantasy XV's world actually has a lot of potential, however, it's just such a jumbled mess and we didn't get to see all that content released. However, those pieces of content being missing from the game was actually pretty big, and if you've been following this channel, I've made that very vocal. Unfortunately, FF15 is concluding on a little bit of a bummer with so much content being canceled, but it is nice that episode Ardyn will see the light of day on March 26th. Check out the episode prologue for yourself if you've yet to. A little bit of a time investment as it is north of 15 minutes, but it's available for free on the FF15 YouTube channel. Moving on from that, of course, we've been talking a lot about Apex Legends, the game that has taken the gaming world by storm, and it was so surprising to me because I really didn't think a Battle Royale title could come out, especially from EA, and it could resonate with gamers as much as Apex Legends has, but the stealth release of the game, the promotion that Respawn has done, they really had the perfect launch for the game, and now we know that this game is going to be updated and there's going to be a lot of longevity to it. One thing that a lot of gamers want is bigger squad sizes, and a brand new leak is suggesting that Respawn may be looking at introducing 6, 12, and even 24-man squads. That'll bring Apex Legends on par with the other Battle Royale titles, as that has been somewhat of a norm in all of the BR titles. Unfortunately, that's not available in Apex Legends right now, but considering the success of the game, I imagine that EA will be investing a lot of resources into Apex Legends to continue to make it a more and more compelling experience. Hopefully at some point we also get the 50v50 mode and some more compelling new ideas coming out of Apex Legends. Respawn is an incredibly talented studio. You know I've been high on them for so long. I've been recommending you guys Titanfall 2 for so many years, and now it's good to see them getting some recognition with Apex Legends, and Apex Legends has in turn been a promotional tool for Titanfall 2, and you see that game resonating more so with gamers now as the player base has been increased. And going into this fall, could we be seeing a Titanfall 3? How is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order gonna do? That's another Respawn title, however it is a single player game. But now you're seeing Respawn really building a catalog of great games, and they could be one of EA's primary studios in 2019 and beyond. That's kind of surprising to say because after the release of Titanfall 2, it looked a little bit dicey for them, but it goes to show how quickly things can change and evolve in the gaming industry. Moving on from that, and speaking of EA, Anthem will be launching in just a few days on February 22nd, and you might be wondering how much hard drive space you'll be needing for the game. Well, it's relatively small, all things considered, for a AAA game. It'll only require a 31.64 gigabyte install, and you'll need that much free space on your hard drive. That's pretty small when you compare it to games like Fallout 76, Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and for a game of the size of Anthem, being this big multiplayer game, being this big budget title, I would have expected to be north of 50 gigabytes, but hey, pretty cool at 31.64 gigabytes. However, again, this is going to be another game that EA plans to have a lot of longevity. They're going to continue to update it, so I imagine that that file size is going to continue to grow throughout 2019 and beyond as long as they're supporting the game. Also, I want to quickly note that Ghost of a Tale, a brand new action RPG for the PlayStation 4, has been delayed. It was originally scheduled for a February release, but now it has been delayed until March 12th. We talked about Ghost of a Tale a little bit, a game that's already been released on Steam and received pretty well. It's an action RPG where you play as a mouse and minstrel caught up in a perilous adventure. The game takes place in a medieval world populated only by animals and puts an emphasis on immersion and exploration. It features stealth elements, disguises, conversations with allies and enemies, and quests. As I mentioned, it's already been released on Steam, and overall the reviews are very good. 1,900 reviews have it pegged at 91% positive, so that's pretty impressive. And it's got a 75 on Metacritic, so this is going to be an underrated gem on the PlayStation 4. It is $25 on Steam, so I imagine it'll be the same price on the PlayStation Store, but one to keep a lookout for. Maybe not one to pick up on day one, but when it goes on sale for a deeper discount, might be one to check out. And lastly, speaking of discounts, DualShock 4 wireless controllers are usually pretty expensive at a full $59.99, but right now over at the Facebook Marketplace, you can get yourself a red DualShock 4 wireless controller for just $35. That's the price I wish DualShock 4 controllers would be from the get-go. $60 for a controller just seems so expensive when we were paying $30 for controllers on the PS2. They might have even been $20. I don't recall all too well, but they definitely weren't in the ballpark of $60. Now, of course, the PlayStation 4 controller, a little bit more high-tech than your standard PS2 controller, but still $60 is a steep investment for a controller. We'll leave a link to the Facebook Marketplace where you can pick it up for a much better $35. And it does have free shipping within the United States, so that is a great inclusion as well. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, Oninaki, a brand new JRPG from Square Enix, is headed to the PlayStation 4 in summer of this year. The Final Fantasy XV Journey will come to an end on March 26th with episode Ardyn. What a storied game that has been. Apex Legends leaks suggest that new game modes are coming, squad sizes will be improved, and there will be more options all around, so that's exciting to see. Anthem is going to be a 31.64GB install. Ghost of a Tale has been delayed until March 12th, the game to keep your eyes on, and get that DualShock 4 controller for just $35. That's a great buy. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.